General Anil Chauhan, the Chief of Defence Staff, General Nirvesh Sharma, the former Governor of Arunachal Pradesh and Mizoram, General Vipul Singhal, the Deputy Chief of Integrated Defence Staff, Jan Shadab, the Dean of Faculty of Studies, Army War College, with whom we run a book. Then Council members, USI, extend a very heart welcome to you for your participation in this 22nd Samir Memorial Lecture. We are grateful to the Chief of Defence Staff that despite his hectic schedule, he has made it convenient to come and speak on a very important subject, and that is jointmanship, the way forward. And this is in memory of an iconic figure, and that is General Samir Sinha, who was the director of the USI from 1987 to 1996. He was instrumental in getting this land allotted and then get funds from the Prime Minister's Defence Fund for the construction of this. So this whole premises here, this whole institution, I think is the father of USI in this dedication. When he left for his heavenly abode in January 2002, keeping in view his lofty contribution towards the USI, the Council took a decision to name this auditorium as his memory, and also we had this memorial lecture instituted at his gracious lady wife, late Mrs. Krishna Sinha. In keeping with the traditions of Indian military, she made initial contributions for this memorial lecture. Presently, his two sons, one is Brigadier Deepak Sinha, who joined his father's regiment, and Colonel Ashok Sinha, who is again a paratrooper doctor. Both veterans are engaged with the USI. General Sinha, he was born in an aristocratic family in 1926, joined RMC, and was commissioned into the 15th Maratha Light Infantry, from where he switched over voluntarily to 2 Para, and General Nirvesh Sharma is here, who has had very good association with them. And subsequently, he commanded 6 Paras, and we have General Vinod Bhatia meets us here. Then he led on to commanding 51 Para Brigade, his division, 19th Infantry Division, and then he was iconic commandant of Indian Military Academy when we were the cadets there. He participated in post-independence military campaign and was wounded in the Battle of Jhangar.
When I talk about the spirit prevailing of the jointness, the spirit of jointness prevailing, then obviously I'm also thinking that it is more in the non-physical domain, psychological domain, something that is intangible and also abstract. Last year, in a number of my talks on reforms in higher defense organization, I explained the understanding of jointness. I believe it's a kind of an environment, an enabling environment, which creates a system of trust between the 3 armed forces so that they can work together without any kind of prejudice or fear, express their opinions in a free and frank manner. And this is what I think jointness is all about. It creates a kind of a congenial working atmosphere and harmony among the 3 services. I think we will be reasonably successful in that particular endeavor. Well, I don't have a yardstick to measure that kind of jointness amongst us, because I said it's a bit of an intangible kind of thing. But I think it's palpable in the environment, in my interactions, wherever I've worked, single service or tri-service institutions. And I think people in the audience would be the better judge of whether this jointness prevails, or it prevails in a better form than what existed 1 year or 4 years, 2-3 years back. I've also been talking about that a 3-stage process, jointness, which is, as I said, will be the basic edifice or a bedrock on which a system of integration would rest. Integration I have described as something which is a kind of a physical activity, It integrates processes, it integrates infrastructure, and we talk about data. And it is on the bedrock of jointness, which is the kind of the foundation, and then followed by integration, that we lay this structure of data commands. So if you don't have these two things, fundamental things, then this data command model which we are trying to attempt may not kind of succeed. So before I speak about the virtues of jointness and what path we undertook to promote jointness in the three services, let me clarify 2 or 3 things about data commands, which is the final objective of this whole exercise of jointness and data commands. So the concept of data commands, most of you are aware that it will separate out operational functions from that of what we colloquially say as RST, based train and sustain kind of functions. And so that will allow greater freedom and greater focus of future generation of commanders who are vested with this responsibility on operational matters rather than getting into the mundane of how to run an organization. So clearly over here, there are 2 things which we are separating out. That is post-generation from post-application. So post-generation would be responsibility to some set of people, and post-application would be the responsibility of a different set of people. In this 3-stage process which I said, your jointness will lead to better integration among the 3 services, and integration will lead to some kind of establishment of data commands. These are all kind of not absolute prerequisites for these 3 activities. It may actually allow people to conclude or assume that establishment of integrated data commands or joint data commands is a kind of an end state which we are looking at. I think we are wrong. The establishment of data commands, I believe, is the start point of another set of reforms which will be ushered in the armed forces. Like jointness and integration, as said, laid the foundation for data commands. Data commands themselves will be laying the foundation of further set of reforms, and let me explain that. Data commands, we will move from, say, single to multi-domain operations. And this was alluded to by DG USI also. And when we say that we move from single to multi-domain operations, we are talking about change in our tactics, techniques and procedures, changes in our concept, information flow, linkages between services, all this is different things. So this is another set. We are trying to fuse space and cyber into traditional domains of warfare, land, air and ground war. So these 2 new domains of warfare are new, and in this, that one of them is a synthetic domain, and in space, where actually we don't reside. In vector the 3 domains, we reside in 5. So how will these 3 domains going to get fused into which are existing domains in which we actually live and then fight is going to be a thing we have to think. Because these 2 new domains, the staff related to that is also operational activity which is controlled from land or maybe service. So we have to think through this whole process. It will lead to digitization of the battlefield information and its visualization. The complete staff work which we do related to battle and presenting the picture to our commanders, process and decision making, all this is going to change the moment you create the commands. 4th thing, it may lead to a next level of integration. Means before data commands, we assume that we have to have some level of integration before we establish it, but once data commands get running, you may lead into a next generation of integration. So today, if we are talking about joint services, logistic nodes, or we are thinking of integrating of the inventories of all the 3 services together, that would just be a beginning. And tomorrow you may think, once data command established, that you will have a common logistic architecture, which we can not say that that will not happen. So that's where actually we should be all proceeding. So the next step would be that presently, if we are into the revolution of military affairs, which we say network-centric in nature, net-centric operations, we will move from net-centric to data-centric operations. And what I mean over here is that we are moving from information dominance in operation to decision dominance. That means the better decisions being taken which are faster. Next would be to absorb the 3rd evolution in military affairs, which I have termed it as convergence warfare. We will be adopting that the moment you are in commands. So it will be kind of converging the first RMA, which is maneuver warfare, along with the second RMA, that is net-centric warfare. It will converge data-centric, velocity and cognitive-centric warfare all together. It leads to convergence of kinetic and non-kinetic operations, including those in cognitive domain. It leads to convergence of time and space and emerging and disruptive technologies. It will converge tactics with operational art and strategy. So this is what we would be doing the moment we have theater commands, that we will go to warfare of convergence. This will help us to enter the next RMA whenever it occurs, along with developed nations. Warfare in cognitive domain. This is where the Chinese are moving ahead. You must have heard about recently they have had they've broken their strategic support code down and created 3 separate verticals and information warfare is one just a vertical. And if you recall, a couple of years back, you used to hear the Chinese talking about warfare in informatized kind of a domain, which is something similar to what we say in network-centric warfare. And then they talk about intelligentized warfare. That's something which I would refer to as data-centric kind of warfare, in which artificial intelligence, machine learning, that element of development in science, which is influencing warfare, will come into play. So we would be kind of, when we are data command established, we would be kind of more future-ready, more flexible in our approach, our thinking, our organizations, and we would be thinking how warfare is evolving in future and how we need to fight warfare in future. It will also usher in changes at lower echelons of establishments, the separation of operations and RST functions, which today with only at the service headquarter level may populate down to a lower level of IT echelons. So that is, so what we are saying, that establishment of data commands is only a beginning of the next set of reforms, which are in its whole entirety is difficult to fathom also right now. But that's why I say this little thing of establishment of DMA and CDS, teaching of the jointness and integration to create data command, we are setting the stage for the most revolutionary set of reforms which will be undertaken by the Indian Armed Forces. It's where imagination is unlimited in this, and we'll have to create innovative, imaginative, inventive thought process as to how do we need to push structures for take care of warfare, how it is evolving. So that is what I wanted to clarify right at the beginning as to what data commands are. They are not an end of a reform, they are actually a beginning of the next set of reforms. Let me now go back to jointness, that's the subject of today's talk. And let's talk about history of jointness. And as I said earlier, everything is predicated on this spirit of jointness between the 3 services. And this was not lost on the founding fathers or political leadership. Right after independence, we had established the Joint Services Wing, which was the precursor for the National Defense Academy. These formative years were the bedrock of jointness. However, I think in the absence of any further efforts for jointness, a vacuum started getting created, and this empty space started getting filled with doubts and mistrust. The divide between the services increased as officers from each service grew in a kind of a closed environment of their respective service, imbibing a culture of their own. But this is quite natural actually. It is not unique or specific to India. It's happened in all countries, all nations, all armies. Each service had their own culture and they would be difficult to integrate with the other services. It's but natural also because officers join the armed forces or particular service because they are motivated by the service of how they reform, how they work, or how they fight. So, this is one of the reasons. But the main reason as to why this differences between the services grew as got accentuated with a period of time is because one main reason is that sharing of resources, your budgets actually. What happened was that each service chief was responsible to the government of India for any threat or challenge emerging in that particular specific domain. So he would have his own wanting, and the budgets were slightly bigger, and then distribution of that was always a challenge. And this little fight for the budgets was visible in high-level meetings which used to be chaired at the apex level. acquisition committee and all. And then this acrimony which existed between the service chiefs gradually percolated down to the rank and file, and that's where actually where we are right now. Now let me talk about a bit of a strategy which we adopted between the three service chiefs and myself as to how should we promote the kind of jointness and what little steps we have taken to bring about jointness, jointmanship and promote guns. The first is about, I think, painting a bigger picture, and it's on a larger canvas. Organizations, especially those which are hierarchical and tradition bound, like armed forces, are status quo by nature. They resist change. When faced with the prospect of change, people consider what they will lose individually rather than thinking what they will gain collectively. I think presenting the bigger picture to them as to what kind of reforms will be there, which I spoke about, making them understand as to why we are doing this and how this will help us out. I think that helped us create, get over this little things of activity between the three service nets. So explaining the benefits of transformation, we are attempting one of the basic steps as part of this change management of bringing about transfers. The second thing was about creating a vision. That's a normal management practice. So we had to have a vision as to what do we want to do, how do we want to see ourselves in 2047, what kind of steps we take to reach that particular vision. So we divided it into three parts, that is from 23 to 27. That was the first part, in which there was certain absolute clarity to us as to where we need to go, how we need to put things across. The second phase was from 27 to 37, in which also there is a clear about clarity. But the last phase from 27 to 37, I would confess, because of the rapid change of technology and how warfare is evolving, but we can't say as to what stage a report would be. So there's a general direction, but nothing which is very specific. And we formulated this vision 2047, which was to be an integrated, all-domain, dynamic and self-reliant in capabilities and thought, ready to respond across a full spectrum of conflict to protect our national interests in concert with other elements of national power. While this vision has been formulated, it's populated down to the three services. The basic steps how to bring toward this end state of 2047 is in the process of being done. The next thing was a top-down kind of an approach. If you look at, which again it's a kind of a management process. If you look, you need to have some kind of a guiding coalition, which is a very epic level, which actually says these are the kind of reforms, and this guided coalition was formed between the three service chiefs and myself, with the existing chief of staff committee, and now that there is a permanent chairman to it, so there could be a formal direction which could be provided to the chiefs of staff committee. And over here also, while we thought about this thing through first ourselves before it went down to the rank and file, between ourselves we worked through a kind of a consensus and to revoke that spirit of jointness among the three or four of us. In the first meeting of our track, we were held at the National Defence Academy, not in Delhi. So we went back to National Defence Academy, our roots, after they reached at the hut of remembrance, and then we walked up to Surat Block. And that's where we said, okay, let's put things in place which are going to help the nation and not let's leave this interest of this rivalry to the sides. So it's there from where we started this journey, and what I said, whatever little jointness that you can see of this charitable in the atmosphere, the journey of that. Then of course next was creating a sense of urgency amongst the middle level of persons. So because these are the people who are going to be the catalyst for the change, and it is through their lifetime that change will be occurring, and they are going to carry forward this process of reform which only will be initiated by senior officers, something like us. We only initiate, the rest of the people are supposed to be carrying it forward, and unless they are as part of it, then of course things will not move that fast. So the another idea was to reach out to them and create a sense of urgency in them, which the only way I could do was, we had examples from other countries where they had to resort to legislations, etc. to do it. So I said, why should we get into it? If we can do it ourselves, then there's no requirement for others. The next was increased interactions. to build the necessary momentum, and this had to be at every level. At least from my side, I tried to address officers at the middle level of all the three services. In fact, last Sunday also I was doing exactly the same thing in Allahabad, followed by Calcutta. And it would be my estimate that I would have addressed virtually or physically officers, almost about 30,000 officers of the three services. And we had 60,000, the middle level officers would be somewhere around that. So by and large, officers, except acting of Northern Command, would be aware this kind of reform which we are trying to attempt. The next is some kind of structured interaction which we carried out. Now I will start from top, the COSC committee. In this also we had some kind of informal discussion which we used to hold these parlays under the rubric or code name of Operation Tiranga. It was there was a free flow of ideas and discussion between the three service chiefs and myself. And on issues where we had some kind of consensus, that issue would be taken on the formal agenda into the Chief of Staff Committee, and once it was passed, then it was kind of cast in stone. So during this past 18 months, we had almost about 11 meetings of Tiranga and almost 14 meetings, COSC meetings, that would meet almost a meeting 3 weeks actually. And that is it by itself a Herculean task where three chiefs and seniors together free to discuss issues for about 3 or 4 hours in a day. Similarly, the Vice Chiefs Committee, they met on almost on 18 different occasions as compared to in 2023, they would have met only on 12 occasions. And all these occasions, their single point agenda was to speed up this system of reforms. We have almost about 13 subcommittees of the Chief of Staff Committee, which helps us, comprises of PSO, to physically carry out the directions of the Chief of Staff Committee. And never before in history, since independence, have all these committees met under one roof on a single day, which we tried as part of Parivartan Chintan 2. So all these 13 subcommittees are there, and till now the model probably for us had been that the Chiefs of Staff Committee decides as to what is to be done, and they are supposed to find a way how to implement it. I was trying to reform that to say that they need to actually tell us as to how do we integrate faster. So larger involvement of people, that I think was important. So these the 13 subcommittees of the Chief of Staff Committee, individually they would have met almost about 47 times, 56 times in 2023 as compared to say 40 times in 2022. All this had also led to there was also interaction in the tri-service level. You people are aware that every service holds the Army Commanders Conference twice a year. The Army Commanders Conference in April and afterwards similar Navy and Air Force. But it's been time, but CDS had never held a tri-service, or CIST had not held a conference. There are two commands which are responsible for it. The Analytical Command and the Strategic Forces Command. So for the first time we got these two commands together along with 4 important joint training institutions, that the National Defence Academy, Senior Staff College and Military Vacant Police. And the 3 agencies, there's the cyberspace and ASSO. So all of them, it's like a mini Army Commanders Conference, but all these organizations actually are kind of joint.
Because everywhere else where it's been undertaken, it's also led to a division at the higher defense organization level, whether it was the CMC, whether it was the US or the Pentagon or wherever.
USI is here. The jointness in our DNA, it's in our constitution, it is in our bylaws, and we've been serving the cause of jointness right from our very inception. And if you in any manner you wish that, well, USI could be part of this glorious journey, we would be very happy to be part of this very, very onerous responsibility and this glorious journey. So I think compliments to our CDS that in a very short span of time, he's been actually able to put the entire gambit and the framework of jointmanship in a very, very plausible and a very, very credible manner. With this, all it remains for me is to profusely thank Chief of Defence Staff for a brilliant talk on jointmanship. This is a book on General Prem Bhakat, Victoria Cross Icon, Vision and Legacy, written by General Fitre, and it was very recently released by Honorable Governor of Arunachal Pradesh, General Patnaik. I'm presenting this book here. This is another book on grey zone warfare, The Way for India, written by General Chauhan, who is now the Director General of Cloth. We had given him a chair of excellence. Third book is written by Brigadier Vivek Verma. He did study leave with us for about 2.5 years. This is on non-contact warfare and appraisal of China's military capability.